This is Matthew Kratter's Bitcoin University. Today I want to talk about Bitcoin Core removing the mask. What we've been seeing in the last 24 hours has really been a display of raw power that shows absolute contempt for the Bitcoin community and its concerns about this pull request. In other words, this change to the software. I'll put a link to this if you want to read about this pull request in the description notes below. So when we talk to newcomers, I've often gotten this question from newcomers to Bitcoin, quote, isn't Bitcoin controlled by the people who run Bitcoin Core, the main software implementation? And my answer has always been, and the general answer is, no, of course not, because if something ever goes wrong, if Bitcoin Core goes rogue and does something that Bitcoiners don't like or want, if they do something to the software, then Bitcoiners can always defect and run their own version of the software. Well, unfortunately, that day is today. Bitcoin Core has gone completely rogue, unilaterally deciding to change the Bitcoin software in a way that the general Bitcoin community does not support. This debate was ongoing, and what Bitcoin Core decided to do was just end the debate and change the software. As Marty Bent points out here, I think one thing is pretty clear. There is no consensus at the moment on this opportune issue. That didn't stop. That's not going to stop Bitcoin Core from merging this pull request. Samson Mao posting here, Bitcoin Core has announced that they will remove the opportune limit in their next release. Many users find this to be an undesirable change for a number of reasons. You can refuse to upgrade and stay on 29.0, that version, or run another implementation like Bitcoin Knots, which is what I've been advocating for. Samson provides, I think, a good context for this entire fiasco. One dev, this is in the last 2 weeks, one dev paid another dev to submit a contentious pull request. Is this pull request laundering? Grass-fed Bitcoin, Bitcoin Mechanic was banned from GitHub for quote-unquote abuse. Admins locked a contentious pull request, unlocked it to let someone submit an ACK, which is a way of approving of it, saying you're voting for it, locked it again, and later deleted the ACK after it was noticed. I mean, this is absolutely insane and unacceptable and unprofessional behavior. Many things have been said about many things, and there have been many multi-hour podcasts, but these strange behaviors just seem to be ignored and memory hold. And I'm going to do my best to make sure these things are not memory hold. This is very unusual what's happening. Parker Lewis points out here, or urges here, any Bitcoin company with actual users, including mining pools, should refuse this change on principle. Bitcoin Core is attempting to change the policy of the Bitcoin network by fiat, in other words, by decree. And as Parker reminds us here, do not upgrade to the new version of Bitcoin Core. Fractal Encrypt posting, if you look at the comments and quote tweets, the Shipcoiners are absolutely foaming at the mouth with excitement over this pull request lesson there. And of course, as the Ordinals folks are happy here, Ord.io. Bitcoin Core just announced that they will likely be removing the opportune limit in their next release, which is a massive win for Bitcoin Runes tokens. These are the people who have been fighting for this pull request. If you're finding this video interesting so far, please help to support this channel's educational mission. Hit the subscribe button. That does really help. Leave a like, leave a comment, question, suggestion for a future video, and share this video with a friend or family member. I think Grubles, not Grubles, points it out well here. Devs, Bitcoin Core devs, let's lift the opportune limit so people will use it instead of harmful methods. And then the spammers responds, using opportune would be weird. We'd rather abuse the witness discount. Thanks. Do you see how stupid all of this is? And there's a quote there. It looks like from Stacker News. KF Chan writes, I cannot understand why people are still using quote, it cannot be stopped, the quote unquote, it cannot be stopped line about spam. It's always about reducing and increasing the cost of doing bad things. Cheating, theft, murder, robbery, none have ever been stopped since the dawn of humanity. Should we encourage more of them, or should we try to filter them out? Super Testnet posting here, everyone's saying filters quote unquote don't work because spammers are just using opportune bot to get around them. Yeah, opportune bot has to charge double the regular fee rate, or its bypass doesn't work reliably. This is a huge deterrent. The filters work, and this is from someone who's in the trenches actually using it. Now is not the time. I think now is not the time for faux intellectualism, or what I'm going to call spam agnosticism. I don't know, man. Do we ever really know what's spam and what's not? Things are never black and white, man. Actually, I know what spam looks like, and I can show you this is what spam looks like. This is a non-monetary transaction that takes up space, and it's not something I want. It degrades the experience of using the Bitcoin network. I like this meme. No, it's already possible to do what they want to do. They just aren't, because filters work, but they don't actually work, which is why we can get rid of them without it mattering. And then the Greg Brain and the genius on the right both saying they want to turn Bitcoin into a shitcoin. And the reaction we're seeing from the very Shipcoiners shows that this is true. If you're still confused about what spam is, and it's a fairly nuanced topic, I'll link to this in the description notes below so you can have a full understanding. I'm not using the word spam in a naive way. I understand the nuance here, and I thought I understood it better before, and I just dismissed this whole spam discussion. But when you begin to look into it, as I do in this video, you realize that this is an actual problem and that there is something called spam. Samson here reminding us to remember traditional Bitcoin culture. Traditional Bitcoin culture on the left: patch the Bitcoin client to drop all transactions to Satoshi Dice, which was an old software gambling program that was spamming the chain, and simply not relay or verify them. Blacklist all chain analysis nodes too. And then on the right is our pathetic modern Bitcoin core dog. We can't know what spam is and we can't stop it. Just remove limits on op return. So that's how the Bitcoin culture has degraded. I'll put a link in the description notes to my video talking about Satoshi's views on spam, with the implication that he was considering filters if the transaction fee market was not enough to fight spam. Fortunately, though, the game theory appears to be playing out as we hoped. Many of you are helping to get the word out about this terrible behavior. Bitcoin Core has gone rogue. Bitcoiners are slowly waking up and switching to using different software. As Predator points out here, the real flippening, Bitcoin Knots just overtook the latest version of Bitcoin Core. Bitcoin Knots right here at 4.83% of the network, over 1,000 nodes running it. And the latest update of Bitcoin Core is actually below that at only 894 nodes, which is about 4% of the network. Again, these are not absolute votes, but this does show what rules people and what filters people are willing to run. If we take a look here, Bitcoin Knots nodes completely skyrocketing in 2025, and it's now going vertical as many of you are switching over, as I switched over last year. If you're not running a Bitcoin node, you have no real say in this matter. Unfortunately, it's great, it's helpful to go on social media and spread the word, but running a node is how you can really help the network, and it's also the safest and best way for you to use Bitcoin, rather than being forced to rely on third parties and hoping that they will let you make a transaction. Pretty please, Coinbase, will you let me move my coins now? In yesterday's video, I spoke about how if everyone just uses Bitcoin as a store of value and they don't run their own nodes and use Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, then Bitcoin will not survive. Bitcoin will go to zero. MicroStrategy will go to zero as well. So be sure to watch that for sort of the broader philosophical background here. And then if you want to learn how to run your own Bitcoin node, I made this short video on Sunday, and now it looks like BTC Sessions has made a much more extended video, which I encourage you to watch. I'll put a link to this in the description notes below. This is almost 42-minute video about setting up Bitcoin Knots on desktop, laptop, Umbrel, Start 9. And lastly, Southern Bitcoiner has a great video here as well on how to run Bitcoin Knots on Start 9 and replace Bitcoin Core. So I'll put a link to all these in the description notes below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the subscribe and like buttons. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.